thanks for tuning in. Before we get underway with today's race, a bit of an announcement from AusCycling the other night at their annual awards. Kate and I were both named the male and female esports athlete of the year. So a nice little accolade to go into the trophy room there, I guess. Especially with some tough competition in Australia. You know, Freddie won the Zwift Games, Wilson won the Nationals. So that was a nice one to tick off. Now, today we are in with the Zwift World Series test races. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that these have been set up in order to test some of the equipment that the riders are using before the racing kind of gets back underway for the big stuff in March. Now, early start for the Australians. I was hoping there was probably going to be a bit bigger field than this. I think about 14 of us actually started today, which was okay. You can have a really good race with 14 legit riders, but I think for this one in particular, I know there was a bit of a secret race happening just beforehand, which might have taken some of the competitors away from it. I did manage to see those results on Matthew van der Poel's Zwift while it was still up there. I'm not sure if it is now, but I'm looking forward to watching that race unfold when the Eurosport or GCN or whoever covers it coverage comes out. But anyway, onto the racing. We are on the Shisha Shakedown, pretty much exactly set up as Elite Race 4 was supposed to be set up. I hadn't done this course, so there was going to be a route badge on the line. Having a look at the field, there are some top class riders. So Kaminsky's here. He's, in my mind, been the best Swifter of the past couple of seasons. Some other really good riders there. Honda, who won this race in the qualifier. We have Cowman, a really good sprinter. Poley, and then Pettinger also ended up playing a part in what unfolded. So we'll take you to some of the key action now. Jump up into this little group, and I can see Kaminsky coming from behind. I'm wondering if he's going to go straight past, and he does. As I think I did a Sunday race on Training Peaks Virtual last week, and I found that this kind of effort where you're up over 600 watts, I couldn't sustain well at all. So this is exactly not the kind of effort that I wanted to be doing right now. Trying to settle into like 8 watts a kilo, when Kaminsky's going 9.5. So for a moment there, I'm like, nah, I'll give up. I don't have these kind of legs at 6 a.m. And then I was like, hold up, I'm fine. Stop being soft. So I go back into the orange numbers as Kaminsky eases to try and get away, and we managed to force a bit of a gap on the rest of the field actually. But I think my heart rate reaches pretty much max early on. So there we go, 179 beats a minute with 43k to go, which is what you want, isn't it? We managed to get a bit of a gap working together here. You can see it's 20 plus seconds to the chase group. They're certainly working together though to make sure it doesn't get too serious. Right now, I was struggling a bit, in all honesty. I was on the front probably doing like 5.5 watt a kilo turns, and then Kaminsky was doing probably 6 plus, and then I was having to do over 5 in his wheel. So I was kind of constantly at like threshold or maybe above threshold right now. I felt about threshold, but it was not that sustainable. Like I thought, can I sustain this for an hour? Don't know. So we worked together to about the rooftop. So still quite a few hills to go here. In my head, I'm just kind of waiting for Kaminsky to do exactly what he just did there, and I was like, nah, not today. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, now I've got 18 seconds on the chasers. I'm cooked, and there's 33k to go. This is going to be a tough ride. So I kind of just let Kaminsky go off into the distance there, not realizing that he wasn't doing the whole thing. So good training hit out anyway. At the top of the rooftop, a couple of boys attack and get like 6 or 7 seconds on the chase group. So now I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna gonna just jump into these guys. And then Kaminsky says, "Thanks, guys," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. Is he stopping?" And then okay, now I'm in the next breakaway of the day with a couple of other guys. So I'm thinking today's just going to be full of rolling turns with fellas. It's about now that Cowman realizes that this is probably gonna could be the move of the day, and so he pretty much sprints across to the three of us, and then we form a lead four, and we work pretty nicely together. We swap off pretty regular, kind of like 30, 45-second turns, honestly, for probably the next half an hour. Through the Castle KOM, we've now got 47 seconds on the group. In my head, I'm like, well, if the four of us can work together, Honda's probably the only guy with the climbing prowess to put a dent in that on the temple. So it should be all good with four strong guys. You can see on the graph a little bit of that below. There's a lot of yellow. My turns aren't that strong. I don't know. I'm not feeling the best today. I'm doing my turns, but like it's pretty hard work. The kind of repeatability doesn't seem the best up the temple, and everyone kind of seems like they're at a similar level. I start to think about what may play out in the last 17K. Pettinger, I know he likes a bit of a breakaway, so I thought he might try and do something at some stage. Cowman's a very, very good sprinter, so I knew I didn't really have the legs to try anything today, so I knew he was a super threat. And I think Polly is a solid all rounder. So honestly, wasn't sure what was going to happen, but I was happy to kind of just keep working with these boys. Honestly, not a whole heap happens in the last bit. We kind of do a bit of work together. The turns aren't as strong as they were. We're all a bit looking at each other. And I'm thinking Cowman's going to win this race unless I try and pull off something a bit sneaky. So I try and launch over the top of the hill to pick up some speed, but he's absolutely straight onto it. I saw him get straight onto me there. I did use my aero. So did he though. So he knew that that was the moment that the race could get away from him. I knew at this stage I was definitely in trouble. Um, didn't really know how I could time this to possibly get it over him. So I try and just randomly guess about now as Polly comes past. But yeah, he's got way too many watts per kilo. He comes past. I'm thinking, oh, you never know. Like we might be able to. But yeah, no chance. Never was a chance. I tried probably the only move that I could to catch him off guard. But we finished second place. Solid hit out early in the morning. Exactly what I felt like I needed. So no complaints there. In terms of testing out the equipment, I've sent a little bit of my feedback to Wahoo, and the analytics from that one. My joules were like 2.5 to 3% in favor of the pedals. So normally I'm used to not having that. The old bike that I'm currently on, the drivetrain's probably not the best, so I don't know if it's simply due to that, or if since I've done the pro spin down on the trainer that things are reading lower. It's a bit hard to tell at this stage, but giving the feedback as well. I had a couple of ghost watts when I coasted on one of the descents as well, so a little bit of feedback there for the equipment guys, which that's what it's all about. These races, getting some testing in to make sure things are good for the resumption of the Zwift season. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time.